Hey guys, what's up? Today I wanted to do a comparison overview slash battle between the Vero Engineering Axon Framelock and the Vero Engineering Linerlock. They are very similar, identical, and very different also. And if you have both of these knives or have handled both of these knives, you'll know what I mean. Yeah, they're the same size and they have the same blade shape, but they have a different feeling in hand and they also have a different action. So it's kind of cool. The difference that a frame lock will make and then a liner lock will make. Uh, this was the first Vero that I ever handled or bought. Uh, and this is the exact colorway I wanted. The stone wash with the black wash blade and the black wash clip. There's just something about this variation that I really, really like. I liked it so much that I had to have another one just like it. The Impulse Mini. Not so mini. This is a full size Tanto blade. Same exact colorway. It's got the stone washed handle, black wash blade, black wash clip. There's just something about this, and together they look amazing. I love them. Love, love, love this combination and these knives. Vero and Best Tech do an amazing job. The duo that is Vero and Best Tech is one of the best combinations of designer and OEM, period. There's a couple others. I'm not gonna go through the list, but Vero and Best Tech they're just flat out one of the best in my opinion. His designs are just next level. There's not really anything else on the market quite like a Vero. The way he does everything, the flow of the handle into the blade, uh, they're just so utilitarian. They're so comfortable. I mean, I can squeeze the piss out of this knife, and it doesn't bother me one bit. And that's fairly rare. Usually, you know, when you bear down on a knife, you get something somewhere, whether it's the clip or the spine. This has a nice full length backspacer. Well, like 85%, 90% full length backspacer, which really aids in comfort and in strength of the knife. Uh, Now, I just recently got this one, which is the Red G10 Stonewash Blade Liner Lock Stonewash Clip. I went with this variation. I wanted the stonewashed blade because I had two coated variations already. I decided I would go with the stonewash, and then I figured I could acquire some aftermarket scales eventually for this. I really like the way the red G10 looks though. It looks really good. This was one of the cheaper variations when he dropped his last batch of liner locks, which was cool with me. I figured, hey, I'll grab some scales at some point in time, and when I do, it'll kind of change the knife around, almost like getting a new knife. And in preparation for this video, going to Vero's website and looking around, I actually saw that he posted some natural micarta scales that weren't there a week or two ago, that I ended up snagging. So I do have some natural micarta scales on the way for this bad boy. So I'm pretty stoked about that. That way I'll have some G10 and I'll have some micarta. I'll be able to pick and choose what I want to put on there. Maybe I'll do a video of switching the scales or something like that. So that kind of goes over the opening about these two knives. Going back before I ever got these knives, any Vero, I always heard the debate between get the Axon Framelock, get the Axon Linerlock. Some people sit in the boat of the Framelock and some sit in the Linerlock. And I think it really depends on what kind of user that we're talking about. I would say if you're more of... I think there is two different types of people. There's people who buy a knife to fidget with it and take pictures of it and then use it occasionally, which I have no problem with. I kind of do that, but I have the ability to take them with me to work and then use them as light as I want or as heavy as I want. And I do take expensive knives to work and I do use them. Some I use harder than others, but I think that might be the difference here. And then also ease of manipulation too. The liner lock's naturally gonna be easier to manipulate than the frame lock is gonna be. And the frame lock is going to be geared more towards if someone wants to buy one of these and use the piss out of it, then I would say that the frame lock would be the way to go because of how durable the frame lock is going to be. The frame lock's going to be able to handle a lot more abuse than the liner lock version is. Liner locks still are very strong, durable locks. They're just not quite as strong as a titanium frame lock. There's just a lot more meat to a frame lock than there is a liner lock. You can see it right there. You got a thick, nice frame, and then you have your liner here. Now, like I said, liner locks are very strong knives, especially when the lock face is done right and everything is done right. They're very strong. They've been proven over time that they are very strong. The same with frame locks. They are very, very strong, especially when they're made out of titanium or steel. They just are harder use knives. They usually tend to be prettier knives, but just because they are good looking knives doesn't mean you can't take it out and use the piss out of it and it still be fine. Yeah, it's gonna get some wear marks and whatnot, but that's what happens when you use your shit. Now, do I go out and just try to damage the knife or put marks on it or whatever? No, I don't, but I have taken this to work and I have used it pretty hard, and it's done well. It's got an M390 blade. They're both M390. They're both flat grinds. They both come in right around like 3.4-inch blades, with a total length of 8 inches to the tail here. So they're identical in that sense. The titanium version is going to be roughly an ounce more than the G10. So you're getting a lighter. I think these are running right around 3.5. I do have a scale. I just got to get it out and get it cleaned up. It had prior uses for it, so I need to get that cleaned up, and I'll be able to incorporate that into the videos. But I think the ease of manipulation is why a lot of people lean towards the Linerlock version, and it usually is a little cheaper than the Framelock versions. But I've been going over this battle and video for the last week or two, actually, kind of figuring out how I wanted to do it and what the result was going to be. And I don't think there's going to be a clear-cut winner here. I think it, just like anything else, it's going to boil down to preference. I know some people who have bought in the Framelock, handled the Linerlock, and decided they liked the Linerlock better and got rid of their Framelock. And I know of people in the vice versa. They got the Linerlock, handled the Framelock, and ended up liking the Framelock better. Me, I just couldn't take it, so I had to get both. And I'm glad I did get both. They're totally different knives. I could carry one day, or I could carry them together, and they look the same, but as far as everything else, they feel completely different. The actions are completely different. They both have incredible action, though. Both have very good detents. The Linerlock is a touch lighter, but that's because of the liner. The Framelock's naturally going to have a little stronger of a detent. And that is the main thing that when asking people why they might choose this over the Framelock, is manipulation. That's what the answer always was, pretty much. Just fidgetability and manipulation of the knife. So that's, and I think if you're a lefty also, that's going to play a huge role. If you're left-handed, then obviously the Linerlock is going to be the way to go. If you have some sort of hand issues, carpal tunnel, whatever it might be, then the Linerlock's going to be the way to go. If you're a hands-on worker, carpentry, or some other field like that, where you might get into some heavier duty stuff, then I'd be willing to bet they're going to pick this knife 10 out of 10, just because it's going to hold up a lot better than the Linerlock will, as far as really getting into material and trusting that that lock is going to hold up. Now, the Linerlock's not giving me any reason to feel like it's not going to hold up, but when you're cutting through something real heavy duty, uh, the Framelock just tends to feel a lot better in hand than the Linerlock version. The Framelock version feels better. But what I ultimately decided was there really isn't a clear winner to me. If I had to go back, I would do it all over again. I would get a Framelock and a Linerlock, and I'm going to keep them both. Uh, these two knives won't ever leave my collection, and neither will this knife here. Uh, but I just wanted to do a comparison and an overview for someone who has no experience with Veros or no experience with the Axons. Uh, I'm not sure if I didn't look. I don't know if there's any videos out there. I'm sure there are some of these two knives together. But I figured I would put my own spin on it. So if you're looking for something that you can just EDC and get it out and open up a box, or whatever light duty tasks, and you want to be able to mess with your knife, fidget with it, then I'd go with the Linerlock all day long. If you're looking for an EDC but is also geared more towards actual use and heavy duty use, I would go with the Framelock. If you want a taste of both, then I would get both. If it was me, I would go with the Linerlock to be safe. If I would tell someone which one to get first, if they wanted to maybe get both but didn't know which one to get first, I would go with the Linerlock, and then it's a little cheaper. It'll get you in the door, and then you can decide, okay, I like the model, and I wouldn't mind having it in a Framelock version. There's a couple other knives that are like that. One that comes to mind is the Kubi Atlas. They made a Linerlock, but then they also made a titanium Framelock. And Kubi also did that with the Drake. So, and those are also both completely different feeling knives, even though they're the same knife. So it's kind of interesting. I thought it was a interesting topic, and everything I ever got from anyone who picked one or the other always either said fidgetability, they went with the Linerlock, or hard use, they went with the Framelock. And then some people, just left-handers, don't have much of a choice. You don't want to be... certain Framelocks are easy to manipulate left-handed. I'm not very good at doing certain Framelocks left-handed, but I still can. But I really like to be able to thumb flick my titanium Framelocks, and I can do that with this knife, and that's another check mark in the right spot. With this knife, I love both these knives, and like I said, they won't go anywhere. But I figured do a comparison of the Vero Axon Linerlock and the Vero Axon Framelock for everyone or anyone who's interested. And I hope you learned at least one thing from this video. And if you didn't, let me know down in the comments. Like, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe and ring the bell. There's lots more coming up. Have a safe one, guys.